Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
And good evening, everyone, live on my YouTube channel, Rich Mancuso. As always, this is Keep It in the Ring. Welcome in for this Thursday edition live of November 13th, 2025. Middle of November, where is this year gone? The boxing year, though, it's been exciting and it continues, and we'll get into that in the next hour. Like, comment, and subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Rich Mancuso. Also, String Punk Entertainment, and of course my co-host and colleague, Tommy D Sports Talk on YouTube. He'll be here in a moment as we go over a lot going on in boxing and pro wrestling and more in the next hour. My social media, folks, my handles, again, XRing786, well, used to be Twitter, as we know it's X by now. Stop saying that. Facebook.com, Rich Mancuso, and also Instagram, and read my content on LatinoSports.com, where I have a column up there right now on boxing where you can read it about Mateus and his upcoming fight in New York City at Barclays Center, plus a little more tidbits inside. And also, my friends, don't forget, throughout the program, we'll get to as many comments as we can as possible. And getting some right now, including Thomas Hill. Thank you. Shout out to you, Tom. Thanks for watching. Thanks to all of you for your support. So in this next hour, we'll look at Vergil Ortiz right away. We'll get to that and his commanding win, setting up possibly with Jaron Ennis at some point in the new year. Big mega fight. Jake Paul, apparently, and Anthony Joshua. That's the report. The new opponent for Jake Paul coming up maybe as much as early as next month. We also have the big rematch coming up, the highlight of the weekend, this weekend in boxing. It's Eubanks and Conor Benn. Father, son will be there as always. Fathers and sons of the two, the legendary fighters in the UK. We'll get to that, preview that. Tom and I will get to that. Plus much more boxing news, the latest on Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, and the WWE Survivor Series coming up in a week or so. And we'll talk about what's going on here with Division and Survivor Series teams, what we got. Nostalgia, much more. Fact of the week. You know how it is. It's Keep It in the Ring live on my YouTube channel. Let's get to it. And let's look at Saturday Night Pass, where we saw in Fort Worth, Dallas, Texas, Vergil Ortiz. He made a statement, and a very big statement. His goal, he's ready and able. The talk is on after this commanding second round win. He wants Jaron Ennis, champion also there now in the division at 154, which is highly competitive. A fight that both these guys have been talking about, a fight that could be made. Oscar De La Hoya, the promoter of Ortiz, and of course Eddie Hearn, a Matchroom, also looking at his fighter, of course, that being Ennis, the young superstar. Both of these are the two young superstars in the sport in a division that's highly competitive, as I always say, 154. That fight could be made. They're trying to get it made. It's a matter of what De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn want to do to put this together, where it would take place, the purse bid. You know, the purses are so important. The magnitude of putting on a fight like this is significant, folks. It's not easy to do. But these two promoters want the best for boxing, best for fans, that being De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn. And they're going to try and get this done. And is in the new year as soon as possible, which would be a mega fight. Many are saying it could remind many of the 80s Hagler Hearns. And that could be. These two have that capability of being that way, two of them facing each other in the ring. The challenge was on. The statements were made, as you see the two of them, post-fight after Vergil Ortiz's commanding win. He is the interim WBC light welterweight champ, 24-0, 22 KOs. Took out Erickson Lubin under 2 rounds. That's all he had to do it. The official time, 1:22 of the round 2. Just a few weeks ago, remember, Ennis disposed of Usman Lima in a pair of knockdowns in his 154-pound debut in the first round, but Ortiz was dominant. Lubin, the southpaw had some jabs, and Ortiz with 3 clean rights to the face that was the deciding factor. It was over quick. A very commanding win for that young man, Vergil Ortiz Jr., under the banner of Golden Boy and Oscar De La Hoya. So no qualms about it. Ortiz wants Ennis. Ennis wants Ortiz. It's up again in the hands of De La Hoya, Oscar De La Hoya, and Eddie Hearn at Matchroom. No issue for television for televising this on pay-per-view or streaming, because both promoters and both fighters are under the Zone banner, and obviously it would be a Zone pay-per-view. With that, let me bring in my esteemed co-host and colleague, as always, Tommy D of TD Sports Talk. So you don't see me twice on the screen. Now you'll see Tommy come into the picture. There he is. But then again, you see me 4 times now, Tom.
Nah, they won't see you. It's it depends on where they're looking at and what view it is. This new StreamYard.
I don't think people want to see me too.
Yeah.
I don't think the fans want to see me twice on a screen in one night for an hour or a little more as we do. Maybe you got the prettier face than me. Anyway, Tom, how are you? Welcome in again, my friend, and your thoughts on Vergil Ortiz's commanding win last Saturday night in Fort Worth, Texas.
I was shocked that he beat Lubin as easily as he did, but I was also shocked with the game plan Lubin had. He was with his third coach in as many fights. He had Kate Karoma in his corner. Last fight he had Mark Ferret, and the fight before that he had Cunningham. In this fight, he threw a couple of jabs in the beginning, and then he threw himself in the ropes. It was not really anything special that Vergil Ortiz did. Lubin trapped himself and decided to go on the ropes, and he was square, and he was just easy to hit, and Vergil did what he was supposed to do, in my opinion. So, I mean, it's a good opponent. It's a named opponent. Lubin is, he's a good fighter. I think he's very good. But it just goes to show Lubin stepping up in competition again, and once again losing by knockout. So, props and credit to Vergil Ortiz. He did what he had to do, and now let's get the fight that people want, which is Boots Ennis. But it seems the way they've been talking, we're not going to get that fight. So,
why do you think we're not going to get that fight, Tom? Because all paths are leading to it, and the way Eddie Hearn talks, it will happen. De La Hoya might be the stickling point in all this. What do you think?
I don't know. I think De La Hoya wants to protect his investment. Both guys have been taking tune-ups, moving up to 154. Vergil went up in weight, and he got 2 easy fights. Boots just had 1 easy fight. A layup is what we would call it. You know what I'm saying? And now this is the fight. They've been tied together at the hip, both names, since 147. The time is now, but it seems like Oscar wants to protect his investment, which is Vergil, and maybe, try to get him maybe a title shot, which is not going to happen now because Fundora is going to be fighting Keith Thurman. Or, they've been talking about Errol Spence and Charlo. So,
I don't know. And Roy Jones Jr.'s popped into the picture of training Errol Spence for his comeback. That developed. Yeah, I know. Regardless, it was to many. This was considered a tune-up fight for each fighter. The way they did it, obviously, it looked like a tune-up. But more importantly, Tom, the boxing world is buzzing about these two getting into the ring finally and see who the better fighter is. It'd be a highlight fight on the calendar in the new year. And I think they'll work it out because, Tom, you've been around the sport, and I've been around, centuries. How difficult it is to put a fight together when you have 2 megastars in the sport. And obviously you have one thing to their advantage. They don't have to worry about a TV network or streaming pay-per-view because it's under the wing of the Zone. Yeah. And they'll have it pay-per-view. So that's not the complexity of it. I kind of think it's location where they want to do it. And, of course, the specifics, as always, with the sanctioning and the belts and titles and most of all the money.
Belts. There's no belts, though, Rich. It has to go to the 2 promoters. That's De La Hoya and Eddie Hearn. I mean, yeah, I can understand, the location, right? They already got the TV deal, right? And then there's money. One guy, you had the manager of Vergil Ortiz come out and say, if they're not talking 8 digits, meaning 10 million and up, then we don't want to talk. So they, and I think in this fight, Boots Ennis should be the A side. Why I say this? Boots Ennis has been a world champion, the unified world champion
Right.
at 147.
Right.
Vergil Ortiz has not been a champion. He's an interim champion.
Right.
So
Right.
I think it's a lot of ego involved here as far as Oscar and Eddie's concerned. I do believe that the fighters want to fight. I think Virgil is a fighter. I think Boots is a fighter. They want the fight to happen. But the promoters are going to prevent this fight from happening. It's what it sounds like, especially with the comments that the manager just recently made.
So you're under the impression, I'm leaving with you on this, that this fight's not going to happen.
I don't think it's
That's
going to
your
happen.
opinion of it.
I don't think it's
Yeah,
going to happen.
I have not been able to get from either side or whatever a feel on it about happening or not. But being around this business as long as I've had, covering this sport as long as I have, it's nothing new. Where the talk is the talk, and then they end up doing the walk. And because of all the specifics involved, the egos now of fighters of this magnitude and the way the promoters are and everything else makes it even more complex to put it together. But this is a fight that fans want to see, and most of all, regardless of what Hurd and De La Hoya think with specifics and all of that stuff, this is what these two fighters want. They've been going back and forth on it, for the last year or so or more?
I mean, more
so
than
I
that.
feel it's inevitable. I feel, Tom, it's inevitable that they will clash at some point in the new year.
I mean, it has to happen now. I mean, fighters are not doing what's going to happen next week. Next week, we're going to have a big fight with two guys in their 20s, 26, 27 years old. These guys are late 20s, 28, 27, 26. I think it's 27 and 28. Do it now. Why we got to wait till they're like in the mid 30s? You know what I'm saying? These are two big stars.
But they're still, and you do mention the age, which is important because as it moves on, they will get older. But when you look at it, they're still relatively young in the sport and still considered two of the stars in the sport with the name right now, especially at Boots Ennis, the way he's been propelled.
Yeah, I agree, but at the same time, both these guys don't have that one key name on their resume, and each other would make that one key name for both of them to have on their resume. You know what I'm saying? They could build a trilogy out of this if of course the first fight is competitive. Some people feel it won't be competitive in each way. I've heard people say that Virgil will beat Boots easily, and I hear vice versa. Boots will beat Virgil easily. So I mean, but we ain't gonna know unless they get in the ring and they make it happen.
Until they do it, and as TWR makes a good point in the comments section, he said, the zone wants to fight. De La Hoya is posturing. De La Hoya is known to posture with his fighters, and we know that. We know that. And we know the zone wants to fight because they are the worldwide global leader when it comes to televising and streaming the fights. And Eddie Hearn knows that, and De La Hoya knows that, and the fans know that because most of the boxing fans that are into it, they subscribe to the zone, and they also will pay for the pay-per-view now at the same time.
Guess what? The Turk guy, the way you call him, the Turk guy, he wants it as well. And from what I believe and what I've been hearing, the Turk guy is very invested into the zone. Not in Matchroom and
yes, I read that today. You bring up a great point, Tom. I read that today in The Athletic. One of their boxing writers, and they don't have many, did a profile feature, and I got to send it to you if you didn't see it, on Eddie Hearn and the structure of where the sport is, especially dealing with the Turk. And you just brought up that point. He's very involved in this. We may not know that completely behind the scenes. Eddie Hearn spilled the beans on it, and I got to send that to you. If those who have subscribed to The Athletic, you should read that. It is a very, very not enlightening, but informative piece of writing, of journalism. describing the ins and outs with Eddie Hearn in Matchroom and his dealings with the Turk guy and how much and how significant the Turk guy, whether you like him or not, has been for the sport. The significance is what he's done. And he's got a lot that don't like him either.
Yeah.
Especially now with the ring belt and taking over, and the fighters are running him, the promoters, because he's got the money. That's what it comes down to. Well, anyway, Tom, that's a fight that I think, to sum this up, based on what we've seen in the last month with these two, with Ortiz and Ennis, I believe that they will not posture. I believe they'll come to an agreement, and we'll have an announcement on this fight. If we don't have it in December, in January it'll be announced. They'll put all this together, and they'll give the fans what they want to see. I believe it'll happen. I believe it will. If not, then there's something definitely wrong.
There's always going to be something wrong in the sport of boxing, especially when it comes to the suits.
Isn't there always?
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. And look, that was a long night of boxing for Golden Boy in Fort Worth. And the prospect for Golden Boy, really no more. Darius Fogum is super middleweight. Off a loss in May, comes back. And I like this young man. He was one of the highlights on there. Fought to a draw against David Stevens, but it wasn't a very good, entertaining fight. It was kind of dull. But he improved his record, and Fogum with a draw is also still undefeated. And of course, Oscar De La Hoya, who pumps up all his fighters, says he's going to be a champion real soon. I don't know, based off this fight, it was rather dull, Tom. I don't know if you saw it.
I honestly didn't get a chance to see it. I was hanging out with your former colleague and friend, Socrates Palmer. We was
again.
Yeah. We was hanging out, so we didn't really get to see. We waited for the main event. We was just talking and.
Oh, and you didn't call me. You didn't call the old man who was probably at home doing nothing that night.
It was Socrates' house. I think you live close to him. He should have invited you.
No,
you better.
We don't want to. I know. I don't keep in touch with him like I should. I don't keep in touch with a lot of people like I should. All right. So on this card, 15-0 is a middleweight Amari Jones, the third round TKO. Hard Rights did it. He's a Golden Boy fighter. That was his debut. They have a lot to say about Amari Jones, and he was in the spotlight as well. So overall, was
into that. I like him. I like him a lot. I think
he does. Yeah, he's got. You know what I like about him, and fans will get on my case because I say it all the time. But he's got tremendous power. I like his power, and I like his footwork. And I always say that I'm old school, and when you have footwork as an old school guy in boxing, and you have the footwork, you're going to win. That let's face it, fighters will tell you the footwork's important. He's got that, and De La Hoya is very high on him. Thank you. Who's that said hit the like button? Toy Tay, the real queen of MMA. Toy Tay, thank you very much, and we encourage you all. I would like button, subscribe to my channel on YouTube, and also Tommy D Sports Talk. We do this together. I'm not doing this without Tommy D. And he'll take the keys to the house once in a while, but if it's not for Tommy, I don't know what I do because he's technically inclined. I'm not. All right. Let's look at this one. Finally announced. It did this in New York City on Monday at Barclays Center will be held. And it's in Brooklyn, January 10th, New Year. Sergio Mateus will defend his WBC super lightweight title against Dalton Smith out of the UK. He's traveling from the UK. The Eddie Hearn Matchroom promoted fighter, Fresh Productions, will be promoting the show. Will be seen on payperview.com. Of course, Mateus has been a former champion, 23-2, 22 knockouts, is a champion again. There'll be a lot of Puerto Ricans in the house. He wanted to fight in New York, and he's got it. Eddie Hearn said to Dalton Smith, it doesn't matter. He got the gracings of the WBC to have Smith fight for the title. My column on this at latinosports.com with more details if you want to further read into it. And Eddie Hearn was very, very complimentary to Jose Sulaiman and the WBC, and also to the New York fight fans. He expects a nice house on January 10th for these two. Many here in the USA don't know much about Dalton Smith because he's basically a fighter out of the UK. But this is a Division 2 for Mateus with Teofimo Lopez and Richardson Hitchens. They're two champions in this division. Tom, do you like this fight?
I love this fight. I think this is a great fight. I think it's an even match fight, believe it or not. I think Dalton Smith is a very solid pro. I think he's going to give Matias some fits. I think he's kind of the fighter as Liam Paro was. So he's going to give him some fits here and there. You know, I'm going to root for the Puerto Rican guy. I'm going to root for Subriel Matias. I think Matias wins, and I'm calling a late stoppage. But I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. You know, I think this is going to be a really good main event that's going to, you know, pump up the fans. The fans are going to see something, you know, they're going to see some great moments in this fight. So I'm pumped up for this. I'll be there in the Barclays as usual, as well as this guy that just commented, BVO Sports. He's already got his tickets.
I know.
He says, you're carrying me as usual.
No, you're carrying me. I disagree with BVO. He's a fan, I know that, but no, you're carrying me. Yes, yeah. That's okay. But look, thanks for your comment anyway. And Shelton, LDBC or Nothing Reloaded. What does he say here?
He says the boogeyman. He's calling Subriel the boogeyman because a few years ago they were calling Subriel Matias the boogeyman. And,
of course, he lost the tie. He lost his 140-pound title to Pero, which was an upset, and he rebounded in Puerto Rico, and now he's here in New York where he wanted this fight.
And TWR says Dalton can punch. Yes, that's why I think it's going to be an exciting fight. Dalton has power. He has some pop. So this is going to be an old school rock'em sock'em type of fight. You know, this is going to be in the phone. I think it's going to be in the phone booth most of the fight. I think Dalton Smith can box though too. But,
yeah, I've seen him many times.
I think his style is going to make him, you know, stay in the.
But he's not going to have the home crowd in front of him now. He's going to be in what I say enemy territory because there's going to be a mass. There'll be a big Puerto Rican crowd there at Barclays Center on January 10th. Smith, again, relatively unknown here because most of his fights out of the UK. But Mateus has a great following as well. I expect Barclays to be buzzing that night. It may not be Felix Trinidad or Miguel Cotto in that ring that night, but Mateus, who intends to retain his title. Tom, I don't know what the undercard is on that yet, but they're going to announce more fights as we go along.
I know they're going to have some Puerto Ricans on the card. I know Nestor Bravo. He's a solid contender as well. He'll be on the card to rebound off his first pro fight, and I can't remember who else, but I'm sure they're gonna pack it up with a lot of Puerto Rican fighters.
Yeah.
I called a friend of mine that manages some fighters. He doesn't have any fighters on that card, but you know, I'll be interested to see how they do because this is not, you know, Madison Square Garden in the Hulu Theater. This is going to be a big arena in the Barclays, so I'd be interested to see how well they do, being that Matias and Dalton Smith are the main event. Very interested to see. The tickets are they're pretty high when I looked at them. So I don't know. You know, I'll be there, but I didn't buy my ticket yet because the tickets, in my opinion, are a little bit too high for this.
Fresh productions. They've done nothing in New York before. I don't think they've done many fights in the United States. You know, I don't know where. Mostly Puerto Rican promotion, right?
Yeah.
So, but I'll be there as well. So far, I mean, I hope God willing I'm there. I should be, but Tom, you carried me. See, Tom, you carried me on this one.
I forgot. You. I know. We do know a guy that's also going to be in the card. Keith Colon is supposed to be on this card as well.
Boy, Keith will start the new year off again to keep his undefeated streak going. If he's not fighting again in next month, because this kid seems to want to fight every 2 months. He's old school. That's what the old school fighters used to do. The featherweight Keith Colon, good friend of the program. We'll have him on again real soon. So, Tom, it's been reported. Chris Mannix said this on the Zone the other night, and so many other athletes that, and we've talked about it. We've had him on the show a few weeks ago. I've been able to talk to him again, Teofimo Lopez, via text. Still won't confirm it, that it's for sure. Mannix says it's him and Teofimo and Shakur, January 31st. That's the report in New York City, Madison Square Garden. But you know what? I've been some further checking up on this. No fight is scheduled as of yet with these two, as much as it's being reported. I'm hearing that they are almost there. The Turk guy's involved with this. He would rather see it in Saudi Arabia, but it can't be on January 31st because that's the Royal Rumble, WWE there, I believe, isn't it?
That I don't know. Royal Rumble is in Saudi. I didn't even know it was in Saudi.
Yeah, it's in Saudi. Yeah,
so
yeah.
They won't be able to do that.
Now, the Garden, I have my source at the Garden who told me they have the date blocked for this fight, but it's not official yet. And it's not official, and if you check your social media handles all over the place, they haven't announced a press conference yet to make it all official. They're pretty quiet about this.
Yeah.
I'm also hearing from another source that there's been some difficulties with contract and stipulations with this or that, but the Garden is definitely open for January 31st to put this fight on. The Turk guy would rather have it in Saudi Arabia. That could be still the stumbling block to officially announce this fight between Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson, the two champions, for supremacy somehow. That's what I heard. That's the latest, Tom. No matter what you heard on the Zone the other night from Chris Mannix and on social media, this fight still has not been officially signed and delivered.
Well, I tend to believe that the fight is very, very close and that they're close to announcing it soon. From what we heard, I mean, you have heard it, I've heard it. The fight is pretty much a done deal. They're working on the undercard as well. There's a rumor that, I don't know how true this rumor is, but there's a rumor that Hitchens and Keyshawn Davis will be fighting on that undercard if that does happen. And
yes, I announced that last. That's what I came up with last week because I had heard that. Yeah,
and the Garden does indeed have it blocked off for that event if it was to happen. So no Nick game, no Ranger game. This is in the big house. This is not in the theater. So hopefully in the next week, I would say a week or so, they would announce it. Maybe they might announce it next week at the Devin Haney and Brian Norman fight with Benavidez and Yards on that card. Maybe they'll wait for that
weekend,
because it's a red card. And also, I just want to shout out. I want to shout out to Ablin LD who just became a member of my channel. Thank you. Salute to you.
Is he a member of my channel?
Not yet. We'll make it happen though. We'll make it happen.
Opulent, subscribe to my channel. It's free. If you're going to subscribe to Tommy D, you got to subscribe to Rich Mancuso. I want to see your comments on that.
And also, I got another question.
Yeah.
I got another question. You got to get Tio to come. I know you speak to Tio every now and then. This guy's a big fan. We want to get Tio on, with us as well for BBO.
Well, he doesn't do many shows, but I haven't got to that point to tell him, but I will. I will, because I'm scheduled to try and get him again tomorrow. See what the latest is. I don't want to bother Teofimo. He's all over the place. He's answering as many people as he can. He's making his appearances at fights wherever he is, and I wouldn't doubt that he's going to be in the UK maybe for this weekend. No, I don't think he's going to go to that fight for Ben and Eubank, but the week after for sure. Maybe they'll make the announcement official there in Saudi Arabia on the 22nd for that big card.
I have a feeling they're going to do it on that weekend. So that's
regardless, Tom, we don't have a fight official yet, and until we have the press conference that kicks it all off, then we will. So, to be determined. Of course, we'll update you more next week and on social media here as well with me and you and so forth. All right, but we know this fight's official. Announced this week, press conference in San Juan, Puerto Rico. Also, January 31st. That's another thing. You're going to have, if they do Teofimo and Shakur January 31st, you're going to get this as well. Xander Zayas and Baru, Unified Junior Middleweight Championship in a division with Ortiz and Fundura and Ennis and so forth. But this is a unification fight, title fight. In San Juan at the Coliseo in Puerto Rico. I would love to go to this fight. And I might be in the height of the winter. I might go there and see this. I don't know. January looks like it's going to be an interesting month, and then you start the new year for the sport.
I'm going to stop you right there. You're not going because if Teofimo is fighting Shakur at the Garden January 31st, you're going to be there at the Garden. So you know what? You read my mind again, as you always do, because Tom, I mentioned a friend of mine said the same thing to me today.
Same thing. He said, you're not going to Puerto Rico. Teofimo and Shakur in New York. That's where you're going. Well, you're right about that. You're right. It's just a shame, again, that the two major cards of boxing would be taking place on the same night. One in Puerto Rico or one here, hopefully in New York City, with superstars of the sport. And that's why boxing doesn't get the support it needs. Yeah. You can't do that to the fans. Because this obviously is going to be... I don't know if it's going to be even a pay-per-view fight. I think it's going to be on pay-per-view. I just... I don't know how they're televising it, but they announced it for sure in Puerto Rico. They did that on... I think they had that press conference on Tuesday.
Well, Top Rank is going to be part of it. Top Rank is still yet to announce if they're going to have a TV deal with anyone.
They don't have it yet. Yeah,
I believe.
What have you heard on that? What's your You were on that last week. What have you heard the latest on that?
I believe that they're going to announce it. I've heard that they're working something out with a movie streamer, a movie channel. Something I guess is a stream. I guess it's a 50 Cent a channel. That he has. So that's what I've heard. I don't know how true it is, but I've heard that Top Rank is probably going to announce something soon, probably a little bit after Thanksgiving, around that time,
all right,
in December, and maybe this might be the first fight on that stream.
All right, so you will scoop us on that, work on that.
As soon as I find out the logistics, definitely. But that's what I've heard.
Yeah, because my Top Rank people aren't giving me any information on that. In the meantime, Xander Zayas, with his first major title defense for unification in the division of 154. An interesting fight because you're unified, then you're getting into the other names as well to become undisputed. And that's what his goal is, and that's what Ennis' goal is, to unify and be undisputed. That division is going to be something to look forward to in the new year, Tom, 154.
That's a great fight. Just want to touch on this. This is another thing. Yeah, they have a deal with Tubi, Roku, and Vizio, Top Rank. So
yeah, but that's not a major. I mean, how many people have Tubi, Roku? I don't have any of those three. I
don't know, but to touch up on this fight, this is a great fight. Credit to Zayas. Zayas could have took a easy voluntary defense, which is what Top Rank wanted to give him. But no, he wanted a unification. He wanted a tough fight, and this is a tough fight. This is no gimme for Xander. Baru is good.
No,
he comes from Germany. He's battle tested. His style is tough. He's a tough guy, So I think this is going to be this is an even fight. This is a 50-50 fight.
That's why I hope that they don't have these two major shows at the same time. And if they do, I hope they don't put them on at the same time. I want to see both cards. And if I'm at one, I can't be at both unless there's a clone of me out there somewhere. I don't know. All right, 903 Boxing, thanks for tuning in and for your support for me and Tom this week on Keep It in the Ring. Tom, Ring Magazine is reporting this, and my buddy Mike Coppinger. This is the report. Next month. With Jake Paul now needing an opponent and Eddie Hearn basically saying, yeah, Anthony Joshua is going to step up to the plate and fight Jake Paul and be the guy next month.
I don't know how true this is. It seems like, nothing's confirmed, but I feel like they're talking about it and the negotiations are legit. Not that Mike Coppinger is a valid source because he's given us wrong news before. But it looks like
I'm not going to comment on that. I will not comment on what you just said.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Mike's a friend of mine. No. You don't have to be sorry. It's your opinion. Never apologize when you give an opinion. One rule of thumb, 43 years of this stuff, boxing and all the other sports, baseball, whatever, never apologize for what you know.
You got it. But
all right.
I think they are in talks, and let's see if it really happens. If it does happen, I don't know. Do you think Joshua go with the shenanigans, or this will be a real fight?
Well, yeah, but now supposedly this is not going to be an exhibition. This will be real. Yeah. And it makes sense in the respect also, briefly, Tom, because this is not Gervonta Davis. There is no big weight disparity here. Joshua, the heavyweight. Paul, ranked 14th by the WBA, is a cruiserweight. So they can get this done. And according to Coppinger, it's going to happen maybe in December. If it's not December, maybe in the month. Yes, see, Eddie TWR, thank you for commenting. Said Eddie confirmed it's close. And when Eddie Hearn speaks, and he speaks, and that article in The Athletic will tell you that, published today. Eddie Hearn says it's confirmed, it's close. He's in on it. He would know. So, and he's got Joshua under his wing.
I just want to go on record also that is another guy in Eddie Hearn that doesn't always tell the truth as well. I just wanted to go on record and say
all
that.
All right.
But I do believe that they're talking.
I've caught Eddie Hearn. I've caught Eddie Hearn fibbing a couple of times as well.
Just a couple.
Not that I. No. Sometimes he does. Sometimes he'll go on and doesn't tell the truth. I agree with you. I agree. Some of the fighters will tell him that too.
Yeah.
Out in the public. But the big Turk wants Paul out of here, says TWR. All right, Tom, let's look at Ryan Garcia. Back in the news. He's tweeting again, which he did so much often when he was suspended for a year. Okay? Garcia says this. He tweeted this. Not his fault that he couldn't fight Jake Paul. Feeding off of that. I would have, he says this. I would have, what did he say? Ran him out of here with him having have a real fight in February.
Yeah.
Right? What does he say?
I would have.
That's typical Ryan Garcia. What does he say?
Oh, I would have ran that with him, meaning he would have ran the fight with him and then have a real fight in February. I've been preparing myself for a while now. That's what he's saying.
But then he says this. All good, though. Those who get bad intentions never win in the end. Now, I think that is an indirect reference to his promoter, Oscar De La Hoya, he is not getting along with.
He's not getting along with, but it's his fault. Ryan is Ryan, and every week we have something for Ryan. I think we should have a jingle for every time we talk about Ryan each week. Why
don't you think about that? Because he's good. This is the beginning of more and rapid tweets or Instagram or more so on X from Ryan Garcia. Once he starts, he doesn't stop. And he will rant and he'll say the most ridiculous things, anywhere from where the universe exists, anywhere from where you and I are, whatever. That's Ryan Garcia. So, and look at the bottom there, what he says about Brian Norman fighting next week against Devin Haney in Saudi Arabia on that big Saudi Riyadh card. What he says there.
Yeah, he's making a prediction. He says, I'm confident that Devin Haney wins. Reasoning is simple, experience, and I feel
experience.
Figure it out. Yeah.
So he's giving his prediction on a fight, and I wonder if he'll be there. I wonder if he'll be in Saudi Arabia next week.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Next
I wonder
weekend.
if he'll be there too. But I like his reasoning.
I know I won't be there. I don't think you'll be there either.
No, I didn't get an invite.
No, let's just say we don't have. I don't have an editor that would send me there. Hey, BVO Sports Talk won't stop here. Virgil beats Boots to within an inch of his life. This guy got something against you, Tom?
No, I don't think he does. I think he has maybe something against Boots, but not against me. I would hope not.
All right. Back to Oscar De La Hoya, Tom, because he's mentioned this week. He's determined to bring high-profile fights back to America in the new year. He's talking about Ryan Garcia, Vergil Ortiz in his stable, both of them, and Gilberto Ramirez, another one of his champions in his stable with Golden Boy. I think that's good to hear. That's what he wants. He wants
that's
to.
All he got. That's all he has. What is he? Who else he has? The other kid he has keeps pulling out of fights because he's injured, sick, or dying. That's Floyd Schofield. I mean, who else does he have? That he's bringing up. He's not putting up big fights as well. He has Virgil, and the fights we want to see, he doesn't want to make. I mean, Virgil and Boots is the fight we need to see. But Oscar, I think, in my opinion, Oscar's holding it up now.
And how about this? Tom? Norman says at 147 he blessed Devin Haney and said that he's just a Mayweather copycat. Wow, that's strong.
That's just a back and forth. I don't really read into it much. I think it's just a face off. It was this. By the way, this face off happened months ago. So a lot of people think that this face off happened weeks ago. No, this happened in August. The face off. This is the first time they met each other. They already saw each other earlier in the day. They had the face off. I thought Brian got the best of the face off, but nobody really cares of it. It was just a back and forth, right? Who's witty? Who's more witty than the other? And
that's how they and you know what? Back and forth leads to fights. That's what they do.
You try to
social media. That's how these fighters get fights going today. They go back and forth, the talk, and it brings an interest from the fans. And wingo, buppo, we got to fight. It's unbelievable.
I will tell you this though, because of that face-off, based on what Jolene told me which is Ryan Norman's manager, she told me back in September when I interviewed her. She said, when you see the face-off, you're going to see why that altercation happened. So apparently he got underneath Norman got underneath Devin Haney's skin a little bit, and that's why you saw the altercation happen with the bodyguard and everything else. So,
Tom, I got to tell you this. Let me tell you this about you. All right, you are becoming an ace boxing journalist. Maybe not writing, but giving the information out. You are doing real well, my friend.
I try with the information that I have, and some of it could be opinion, but this is what people were said, and when we asked them, and and it looked like that was the case, and I had to agree. Now I couldn't agree back then because I didn't see the face off, but after seeing the face off, it looked like that's indeed why that scuffle happened.
That's good information you provided just now, and you're always providing good info, my friend. All right, according to the Ring, again, Charlo and Lee Plant will have a grudge match at 160 or 168 at some point in the new year. This came out just a day ago again from the Ring.
This is a grudge match, even though they never fought before, because this is personal. Everybody knows what happened.
I know. Who spit into whose face? I remember that.
It was he slapped him because I guess Charlo was
push and shove.
Yeah. But no, it was a slap.
So they're finally gonna do it next year, some point. They're finally gonna do it.
Supposedly.
So we'll see what happens. All right, let's zoom in and talk briefly now about the fight of the weekend coming up Saturday in the UK. The rematch, Eubanks and Conor Ben 2. Of course, Eubanks won on points in 12 rounds in April. Very close fight it was. They developed a feud in the first fight. It's a little calmer for this rematch. And Saturday at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium in London, on the zone pay-per-view. Fighting at middleweight they are at 160. Both sustained their first loss. Ben sustained his first loss in that fight of his career. This fight could be seen on the East Coast, 4:35 p.m. Eastern, for those who want to see it. That's when the ring watch reportedly will begin. No eggs thrown on a face here, based on the first one, but we had the legendary face-off today in the UK for the final press conference. The two fathers and the two sons. And, of course, the two fathers, Eubanks Sr. and Ben, they had their type of war back then. And I thought this was legendary to see this today at the final presser. The two fathers and the two sons, no pushing and shoving, just a lot of great nostalgia there, Tom.
Yeah, I thought this was pretty cool. It's probably the clip of the day. Was the face off there, Nigel and Eubanks Sr. They have a good friendship. Not a great friendship, but a good friendship. They respect each other. They share the ring.
They respect each other.
It's just the kids, their sons, they don't like each other. But I thought this was pretty cool out of the whole press conference.
And I've noticed a different type of, Eubanks Jr. is still mouthing off, but not as bad as in the pre-hype of the first fight. And Ben looks a little haggard. He does look a little haggard, and he's not being confrontational as much, going back at him. He just wants to do his business to get the win this time, because the first fight, they had a lot of drama. It was a bloody fight. Both fighters were exhausted. Eubank took 8 rounds to 4 in that first fight. Do you have any type of outlook or prediction how it's going to go Saturday in the UK?
I don't have a prediction right now. I think I would favor Eubanks again. I feel like you're going to get the same type of fight, especially in the first few rounds. I think Conor Benn is going to go for it. I will point out this: I don't really hear anybody talking about it much, but Bomac is going to be in a corner of Eubanks.
That's right.
That's something you got to look out for. Bomac is a great coach, a great trainer. So
trainer of Terrence Crawford.
Yeah. So I
unified
feel like,
champ.
Yeah, I feel like Eubanks will box a little bit more, and maybe make it a little easier. Sometimes when you have a great fight of the year fight like you had in the first fight, the second fight doesn't really live up to the first fight. So I feel
and I don't think this will be. I don't think this will be anything like the first fight. Then again, we don't know, but I don't expect it to be that way. That first fight took a lot out of them in April. It really did. And I could see this going 12-round decision, and I could see Ben maybe taking this one this time, taking this, and who knows if they'll have a trilogy? Who knows?
I don't think you have a trilogy. I think I think they'll go their separate ways after this, no matter what. Because Ben is talking
that's the highlight.
He's going back to 147 and wants a title shot.
Right. They're fighting at a catch weight of 160. Right?
160.
Is it 160?
Yep.
Yeah. Right. And the undercard, Jake Catterall's on the card. It seems like he's always there somewhere. Jack Catterall. So that'll be 2. That's the highlight fight of the weekend on Zone Pay-Per-View, where you got to pay for your subscription to the Zone and also pay for the pay-per-view, which makes no sense at all. But then again, this is boxing, and this is how they make their revenue off you and I and every other fan out there that loves the sport. You're going to do it. You're going to pay for it. All right. Fact of the week time. Put it up, Tom. You're going to do it with me again. Here we go. Here we go. We got to get some music. Do you have it?
I can't play that music because it restricts me.
All right. I don't like it anyway. Get something different. All right.
I got to redeem myself.
I had prepared this week for a guest. We'll talk more about him at the end of the program tonight because he's Irish American and was a champion. So I had an Irish American type of fact. Look at that. Eubank has looked his best with Bomac, according to DWR. Thanks again for your comment.
rematch with Caleb Smith. So he did.
All right. Get ready, Tom. Here we go before we go to break. Fact, not trivia, as everyone knows by now. Fighters who changed their name, meaning they got nicknames, to remember. All right? So can you give me 2 Irish-American fighters who changed their name, to nicknames, to be remembered by? 2 who were great can give me 2 names, though, who were great without changing their names. Irish-American fighters. 2 Irish-American fighters, well-known, who didn't change their names. No nicknames to them. Kept their names so they could be remembered in boxing history. And boy, are they remembered in boxing history. 2 great names.
I'm going to go with one off the top of my head, Mickey Ward.
Yeah.
That's one? Is that Mickey Ward one?
No, that's not one of them, no.
Damn it.
Because he called himself Irish. Remember, he called himself Irish Mickey Ward. Remember that?
Okay. So they didn't have a nickname ever?
No. They just used their names without a nickname. And, fighters, no matter if they're Mexican, if they're Irish, if they're Italian, or whatever they are.
Sean O'Malley, is that one?
Latinos. No, Sean O'Malley's not another one. Good try.
I can't think of, Mickey Ward is the first one that came to my mind.
I'm going to give you, because we got to get to a break, I'm going to give you the 2 names, and you're going to know who they are. You ready? Fact, not trivia. Gene Tunney.
Wow.
Okay. Retired as a heavyweight champ, 83 bouts. Beat Jack Dempsey 2 times. That's one. All right? Now, the other one, John L. Sullivan. You know that name, right?
He was an American? You said
Irish American.
He was Irish American? Okay.
1879 to 1892. We're going back to the 1800s with Sullivan. He was a bare-knuckle heavyweight champ. Had that right hand, all right? And used to say about him, he could beat any son of a bitch in the house. That's how good he was if you go back. He was a bare-knuckles fighter as well. But those are two Irish-American fighters, well-known, who kept their names to be remembered. They didn't want a nickname. They could have, and they didn't want to do it.
Okay.
All right. How was that fact this week?
That was a good one.
Was it a good one?
Good one.
Thank you. You had to say that, didn't you? All right, that's Tommy D. I'm Rich Mancuso. This is Keep It in the Ring live on my YouTube channel and Tommy D Sports Talk. Like the Keep It in the Ring page as well. We're live there as well. Also, my YouTube channel, like, comment, and subscribe. Please do that if you like what I'm doing, what Tommy D is doing. Social media also, xring786, facebook.com, Rich Mancuso. Content read on latinosport.com, among some of the places I write for. First break of the night. Come back. Pro wrestling time, nostalgia to follow, and much more. I'm Rich. This is Tom. It's Keep It in the Ring. Back in a moment. Stay with us.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
Back to Keep It in the Ring. Live on my YouTube channel and Tommy D Sports Talk. Like, comment, and subscribe. Good opening of the hour. We're going past 9 p.m. Eastern, of course, tonight, as always. Hey, Tom, we got some new sponsors. We want to thank them with String Punk Entertainment for jumping on board. And there'll be more to come. And we continue to revamp here as we go into the new year pretty soon. And also, we want to talk about sports with Rich and Tom, which we really haven't done and focused on, and we're going to because we're still putting some teasing stuff together, as they say in the business. And there's a lot going on, and we will as we get closer with so much sports going on this time of year, especially with the NFL and its height. And everything else. So your guy Aaron Judge won another MVP award.
Yeah, that's the third one, and it was close. I don't know who finished second. I'm assuming the catcher from Seattle.
Riley. Cal Riley. Yeah, that's who I would have gave it. That's who I would have gave it to. Besides the point, he's a big boxing fan, Riley.
Yeah. It was close.
Cal and I talked boxing during the season when the Mariners were in town in New York.
Yeah,
but that's not why I voted for him. I thought he deserved it. But, judge is judge.
Judge is judge. And the way I look at MVP sometimes is like, what do you do if that player was on your team? Would they make the playoffs? Would they not? And I think you make a case for both, especially a catcher. A catcher, remember.
Yeah, they very well could have been. Yeah. Very well, Tom, it could have been co-MVPs. They don't like doing that. But I know the writers don't like doing that.
Catchers don't
could have done that.
Catchers don't get enough credit because they
especially Riley, switch hitter, switch hitting catcher.
But the defense, remember, they call the game. They're the ones that call the game.
Yeah, they call the game even with pitch com, and they call the game and they get battered and bruised behind the plate.
Yeah,
I see it. I see it in the 80 or so more games I covered during the course of the season. All right, that's baseball.
As a Yankee fan, I'll take Aaron Judge being the MVP.
Yeah, he deserved it. I'm not doubting that. And besides, he's such a great guy. He is. Fantastic guy to talk to. Pro wrestling time. Ready, Tom? WWE. Let's put this up first. And let's take a look at John Cena. Now a Grand Slam champ. You can't see me, right? So 17 times now. He's a Grand Slam champ. Got the IC title belt away from Dirty Dom. It's a way for John to retire. He's not going to end up with that strap. I think what's going to happen during this tournament for his final opponent end up being Gunther. I think that's what's going to happen.
I feel
and
like
he'll take that title back.
Too. Yeah, I think it's going to be Gunther.
So they're running that tournament. But congratulations to John Cena. They're sending him out in grand style. And Dirty Dom's very upset. He could be breaking away from the Judgment Day. And I'll tell you more about that as we move along. All right, what else are we talking about with WWE? Because that was a highlight.
We need Dirty Dom to get the
Dirty Dom.
He's one of my favorites.
Yeah. Dirty Dom and his father are going to be, let's look. Survivor Series is coming up, and there's a lot of buzz. This is one of the matches probably going to take place. Stephanie Vacar, the champion, the world champion, against Nikki Bella. Bella turned on Vacar, so she's now the heel. I saw that coming.
I didn't see that
but
coming.
Vacar will win. Yeah, I did on Monday Night Raw. Now, I'll tell you right now, Nikki Bella's not winning that title at the Survivor Series because Vacar's the future. Bella's just there as a final run for herself. She's a Hall of Famer already. She's not getting that title. It's Stephanie Vacar. Well, and that's one of the Survivor Series matches. What else we got? We'll go more into this next week. Here is the Women's Survivor Series War Games match. Team Io Sky. Of course, the Kabuki Warriors, which will show Oscar and Kairi Sane. They have the titles now.
Yeah.
Now, this is an interesting women's War Games match. If you look at who's on the side there of Oscar, my favorite, Nia Jax, and then you have the newcomer Nia Jax. She's my favorite. I love her. I always did. I want to date her. All right? It'll never happen. Lash Legend out of NXT. She's up the forefront there. You see her right in the front. Right? And she's with Jax. They're helping each other right now. And on the other side, there is Rhea Ripley. Okay? And you have Bliss and Charlotte, who lost the titles to the Kabuki Warriors. You have AJ Lee. These are the rumored, they got this up already, and this is supposedly what this match is going to look like. And of course, you have Io Sky. So that should be a good War Games women's match, a Survivor Series in San Diego at Petco Park Outdoors next Saturday on ESPN.
I didn't know they were doing outdoors. I thought the MLB didn't want any type of rings in the stadium.
No. They made this deal with San Diego. They're doing it there. Yeah.
Oh wow. Okay.
Remember WrestleMania next year, Saudi Arabia, or the year after. This year in Vegas again, indoors, back to back. So that's good. And then what do we got after that? Then we have the men's War Games match, which very interesting here because this is not all official, even though we're putting this up because this is what they're showing. All right. Roman Reigns, Jey Uso, CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, John Cena. That's the question, all right? And also, there could be a change there. On the other side, you got Austin Theory there. That's not definite. You definitely are going to have this. You're going to have Breakker and Reed with the Visionary, and Logan Paul, who's a part of that. We talked about this last week. Brock Lesnar. Looks like that'll be, but there's talk now too that instead of Theory, it'll be Drew McIntyre, who's still having his problems. He's suspended again, but they took him out of the picture because he's doing a movie, but he's expected back in the next week or two. It's not going to be a long hiatus for him. And that could be Drew McIntyre instead of Brock Lesnar. Regardless, Tom, that looks like a very good, interesting War Games men's match for Survivor Series.
This does look interesting. Austin Theory out of nowhere. I know they've been talking about bringing him back, trying to give him another push. But I'd be very intrigued. And with John Cena in a War Games match, I would have never thought of it either. So it's not confirmed, but it's interesting.
It might be Penta instead, too. But definitely Roman Reigns there. But I love this format of the Survivor Series with WWE War Games matches. I love it because you got the two rings there, and you got a lot of action going on, and you got some. Look at the talent as it is right there, right now. How interesting this will be.
I tell you one thing: Bronson Reed better not do any jump off the top of the cage because remember what happened last time.
No.
He almost ended his whole career. Breaking he broke his ankles or his leg or something. That was
I
nasty.
want to know the wrestling fans out there who followed me over the years, what do they think of this? Let me know. Comment. All right, what do we got next? I think there they are. The Kabuki Warriors, a
I
tag
should have
team
put this
champ.
up. Yeah, new tag champs.
Mhm. Oscar and Kairi Sane. Because that's going to lead to a Bliss and Charlotte Flair breakup. And Dirty Dom is going to have a match with his father, Rey Mysterio, at Survivor Series. That they're going to do it.
Yeah.
And they're going to renew that again. I think it's Dirty Dom. I think that's the match. Judgment Day gets involved, does it the wrong way. Dirty Dom, and all of a sudden, Ray and his father's son
They reconcile
back together
probably,
again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think so.
I think you're right. But it just
think so.
stinks because Dirty Dom is so over as a heel. Like he's probably their top heel right now as far as getting the crowd over. And you know, to turn the face, he's going to lose that. I think so. I don't know. We'll see what
Right,
happens.
we'll have more about
it. Seem like he's going to turn face.
More next week. Before we go to AEW, take a look at this. This came out a couple of days ago. Top merchandise sellers in WWE, Tom. Look at the top to the bottom. You see that? Alexa Bliss,
Wow,
AJ Lee. Surprised me on that.
Yeah.
CM Punk.
Makes
Cody
sense.
Rhodes, I thought would be at the top, and he's
see the
not.
hat.
Top merchandise seller. Yeah. Yeah. Jacob Fatu, who's not in action, he's injured. And that's why the whole Survivor Series is War Games matches changed, because Fatu is hurt. He's on the show. And then you got Jey Uso and John Cena, who I thought with his retirement year would be at the top. These are the latest figures. Yeah. Penta in there, and there's a Rhea Ripley. I could see him. Roman Reigns is dropping the top to the bottom. Merchandise seller.
Wow.
Yeah, but because these guys make an awful lot of money off the merchandise deals.
Yeah.
I'm finding out more and more how this as much as I knew, how this new wave of pro wrestling, this new industry as it is today, how it exists and what goes on behind the scenes. And I'm finding out a lot, and I'm going to reveal it soon, more and more, as I know. Okay, now, let's go to AEW. Just show this, because I'm not going to show more than this, because last night on Dynamite, the 2-hour special could have been a pay-per-view. Blood and guts. Almost like Survivor Series War Games. They had a men's match and a women's match. 2 cages. Brutality. I mean, it was brutal. I don't know if you saw it on TBS, Tom, but this could have been a pay-per-view itself, but this was crazy. I'm just showing this because at the top of the cage was Briscoe and I believe it was Yuta from the John Moxley faction of the Death Riders at the top, and I thought they were going to do an Undertaker Mick Foley type of thing at the top of that cage, way at the top, but almost. They might have changed their mind, but that was a brutal match that they call blood and guts, okay? AEW, Tom, because you're not into it, right?
Yeah,
AEW will not get away from this brutality, which I think is the wrong direction. I mean, you're always seeing the blood. And last night they must have had a record bloodbath in all their matches. And they're taking out toolkits. You got hammers. You got pliers, scissors, everything. Going in and stapling Orange Cassidy's hands to his jean pockets. Moxley did that to him. That's not wrestling to me. That's brutality. Why do I want to watch that? But that's what they do.
That's what they do now, and I'm just not into it. I mean, I used to love ECW. ECW didn't even go that far to do stuff like that, so.
No. Yeah, but fans like this stuff, but they're not getting the ratings to show it, but fans like it. Yeah. Anyway, Tom, because Tony Storm champion was involved in the women's match, and she got smashed by a mirror, glass all over the place, blood sprawling all over the place. It was a surrender type of match for the men and the women. Hobbs and Hangman Page, anything goes. That was brutal. Champion, of course, if you saw it, anybody did, Hangman retained, and now he's got Samoa Joe in Newark, New Jersey next Saturday night at their pay-per-view. What's it called again?
Prudential Center?
Full Gear. Yeah, Prudential Center next Saturday. Remember we talked about going to that?
Yeah, that's right. You did mention. You're right.
Yeah. Wow. So that's going to be Samoa Joe and Hangman Page again, and that's going to be an anything goes type of match for the title again as they continue that with the Ops getting involved in that. That's the team. Kenny Omega is going to return there, and the Young Bucks. Don Callis family's involved in all this. To follow AEW, it's very difficult. Their scripts go all over the place. And Chris Jericho seems to be making indirect references to that. Now he's no longer with them, and you'll see his debut at WWE Survivor Series, I'm sure. Chris Jericho.
Survivor Series or Royal Rumble, probably.
Yeah, rather the Royal Rumble. Right. In that's in Saudi Arabia. And Jericho, who loves it there, is going to make his reappearance in WWE back then. All right, we are going to take one more break, Tom. Come back, do nostalgia and a few other things, and wrap it up. Keep it in the ring. I'm Rich Mancuso. That's Tommy D. Like, comment, and subscribe my channel on YouTube, Drink Punk Entertainment and Tommy D Sports Talk, and the Facebook page live. Like that as well. Back in a moment. I'm Rich. That's Tom. Stay with us.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.
All right, Tom, you there, Tom?
Yep, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You didn't mute me this week. That's good.
No. No, I wouldn't do that. Okay.
No, he wouldn't.
No,
let's go to this. Let's go to nostalgia. We got two good ones this week. What are we going to do first? We're going to do first Marvin Hagler. Yep, yes, Hagler Duran, the 80s. Everyone hears me talking about that great era of the 80s. Hagler, Duran, Hearns, Leonard, and so forth. And that was a great era. Great fights with the four of them back and forth. This November 10, 1983, Marvelous Marvin Hagler, the late Marvin Hagler, the Hall of Famer, retained the World Middleweight title. 15 rounds. Remember, 15 rounds. That's the way it used to be. Unanimous decision over Roberto Duran, Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, November 10, 1983. After 13 rounds, Duran was ahead by a point on two scorecards, even on the third. Hagler then came up with a strong finish and got the win. It stopped, though, an 8-fight stoppage streak for Hagler at the time as champion. So this was a great fight, again, during that 80s era. Legendary. Marvin Hagler, Roberto Duran, November 10th, 1983. Tom, I did not cover that one, but I've seen it many times. Classic
fight. Hagler was a 4-1 favorite. Not a big favorite, but big enough favorite. 4-1 favorite. As far as the money's concerned, Hagler was guaranteed $5 million at that time, which is a lot of money at that time, and Duran was guaranteed $1.5 million. And each
how about that?
They also received
that was big money. That was Tom. That was big money back then too.
Yeah, that was only guaranteed, and they also got a percentage of the revenue. It was closed circuit TV back then, and they got a percentage of that. It was. I guess it says it's shown in 400 locations with 3 million seats. and there was also pay-per-view television in Chicago and Los Angeles. So,
And
you
that
know,
was outdoors at the outdoor arena set up in the back of Caesar's Palace on the Strip
yes,
in Las Vegas, and
yes.
in the evening. What a fight! All right, we got to look at this one now. November 13th, 1992. Heavyweights. Riddick Bowe won the undisputed heavyweight championship, unanimous over Evander Holyfield. In Las Vegas, too. That was the capital of boxing. It still is to many now. First of their 3 fights, and it was remembered with that great round 10, known as also as Fight of the Year. All 3 bouts with Bowe and Holyfield. What's that, Tom?
Round of the year.
Round of the year. Sorry,
Round of
thank you. Correcting me again. I'm glad you did. Now, here's the interesting thing, too, with these two. They fought 3 times, Bowe and Holyfield, all in November, in the month of November of 1993, 1995 in Las Vegas. 92, 93, and 95, all in Vegas in the month of November. Obviously, the weather is a little cooler if you want to do it outdoors there, as they did. Tom, I believe you have a video of this great round 10 of this fight.
Yeah, we'll play round 10, which was round of the year back then. Great
Okay.
fight. It was a great round. We'll play it. We're going to have it on mute because of copyright, fair use to all
Right.
the copywriters out there. But fair use. We'll play it in silent. I'm just going to play round 10, Holyfield Bowe.
Let's take a look.
Oh, let me take this off. Sorry about that.
That's all right. Here we go. Comment if you want, Tom, as we
Yeah.
take a look at that great round
Hit him with a
10.
nice jab with Bowe with the jab, and then the clinch is there. And they're just getting warmed up this round. Joe Cortez, the third man in the ring. Nice uppercut there. Hurt Riddick. Hurt Holyfield there. Holyfield stumbles in the corner there.
Great round, historic in boxing.
round.
2 of the heavyweights at the time.
Bowe
2
looking to finish,
champions.
and watch eventually as Holyfield turns it back on him. As Bowe kind of
Holyfield was the first cruiserweight champion to become a heavyweight champion as well.
Yes.
And this on HBO at the time, the premier televised network of boxing. And so many people got involved in boxing, young people, because of watching HBO. And here we go with round 10. And Joe Cortez was a great referee because he let them fight.
He did. But it looks like Bowe got tired there after that, first minute. He hurt Holyfield, and Holyfield's going to come on strong any second now. And this was just a great round. How Holyfield stood up, I do not know, because that uppercut early on in that round, I mean, that was vicious.
Yeah, Bowe came in as the heavier man, if not
Yeah.
mistaken, in this fight as well.
Yeah.
And he had a
Holyfield was
controversial career. He was
Holyfield-
controversial as well.
A little bit. Holyfield was favored in this fight. So
Yeah.
Bowe was both undefeated fighters. Holyfield the champion, and Riddick Bowe the challenger. But look at as Holyfield comes on now. Look at that.
Again, we don't have the sound because of copyright.
I don't want to. I don't want to get in
right.
trouble.
We don't want to get in trouble. They want to ban Tom and Rich from keeping in the ring. But this is great nostalgia, folks. Yep. And there's Cortez letting them fight, but separating them. And we're showing you that great 10th round of the year.
Round of the year in the first fight.
Unbelievable. They fought 3 times, all in the month of November, too. Tom, I have Holyfield as one of my all-time top 5 heavyweights of all time.
Yeah, wow. Okay. I don't
Yeah.
have no problem with that. Holyfield was a dog. He was a real fighter. I love Holyfield. It's just so hard. There's so many great heavyweights. It's hard
There
for me to
are.
rank them. But
Well,
I have no
again,
problem with him being top 5.
how many times have I said great heavyweights? That was the face of boxing. And there's a great late Lou Duber. who trained and managed Evander Holyfield, will come out of that 1984 Olympic boxing team where he didn't win the gold. He won. No, he did. He was one of the gold medalists at heavyweight. In '84, I should know that because I was there. I worked with those guys. But Riddick Bowe, yeah, top Holyfield five, top 5 according to 903. Yeah, I agree. Yeah. Riddick Bowe was controversial because he had a manager named Rock Newman who was always in controversial mode.
Yeah, Rock Newman was a character.
Remember Rock Newman? He was a promoter. He was a character. Had a lot of problems with the fighters he had and with other promoters and stuff. But and I could tell you, I worked with him a little bit, so I can tell you firsthand. But Riddick Bowe developed a lot of that attitude from, I hate to say it, but from the late Rock Newman, who was a music promoter. He come out of the music industry.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. The problem with that I had with Bowe is that he never got the fight with Lennox Lewis. He threw the belt. He threw the belt in the garbage.
Right.
He didn't want to fight Lennox. And what's funny is after this fight, after he won this fight, I don't know if you remember the fight. Lennox was there at ringside, and he spoke to him. They had a little back and forth right after this fight before Bowe went over to George Foreman and kissed George Foreman on his head. I thought that was pretty funny too. But yeah, that was like I think their first meeting since the Olympics, because I think they fought in the Olympics and Lennox Lewis beat him in the Olympics. So, but that's the problem with Bowe. Bowe never got that fight with Lennox Lewis.
No, but great history here, great nostalgia this week, Tom. Thanks for loading it up and helping out on this. Because that was the face of boxing at the time, the heavyweight division. Holyfield was DQ, that's right, in the Olympics versus Kevin Barry. And you know what, Lobos Boxing, I should know that. I was there. Who's that?
L-Dub Boxing. L-Dub.
L-Dub Boxing. Thank you very much for watching and clarifying because, I'm getting old. I forget. I can only remember so much. Thank you very much. Great nostalgia bag this week, Tom. Good stuff. Let's get a wrap on the show this week. Let's take a look at this. I visited the Little Mac Gym in River Edge, New Jersey, just over the GW Bridge over the weekend. And then visited Danny McDermott, Irish Danny McDermott, who was going to be on the show this week. And he's a former champion, not a major champion. He had one of those titles, though. His 15-year-old son, Kane, in an amateur debut in Atlantic City at the Tropicana Hotel over the past weekend. Unanimous decision, sponsored by the WBC and the Atlantic City PAL. Great organization. Trained under his dad now. He's being trained by Irish Danny McDermott. And he runs a Little Mac boxing gym. And here's the story here. Is this fight, his son, and they dedicated this fight in the memory of the late Arturo Gotti Jr., who was tragically murdered. Yeah. The son of the champ. And there's Sophia Gotti and the mother in support. They were there. But the young man looked good. And you didn't meet him yet, but we're going to have him on the show with his father, Danny McDermott. It's a great story. Irish Danny McDermott. He's got the Little Mac Boxing Gym in River Edge, New Jersey, just over the GW Bridge. A nice old school type of boxing gym, Tom. When you walk in that gym, you see the old school photos. It's an old school type of gym. It's not one of these new boxing gyms you see today. It's old. It's an old school gym. You climb up the steps like the old school gyms. You go in, and the first thing you see is a lot of history, a lot of historic fighters, the photos. Irish Joe Braddock is up there, and even I saw that on my visit there on Monday. Yeah. And Danny had a title at one time. It was not a major title, but it got him ranked. One of those, what I call alphabet soup titles. I don't want to say that. It's still a title for a fighter,
Regional,
and I think it was. I know it was called something with the. He's got the belts proudly displayed in the gym as well. I should have took some photos of it. But the story here again is father-son and what he's doing for his son right now. It's carrying on a tradition. The young man, Tom, has talent. And the young man, I saw highlights of the fight, but I haven't met him in person, and I will. And congratulations to that young man who is succeeding in his father's footsteps. More to come with them on the program. Tom, let's wrap this up. I came across this. All right? Put these two graphics up. Look, and when we have fighters and trainers on the program as we move down the line, we're going to keep this because look at this. As fight people as we are, we take interest in this. The first one is fundamentals, defensive moves in boxing. All right? Look at the terms and what they do. Tom, you want to read that?
Yep. Duck and block. I can't read the other word, but I will tell people.
Yeah, the slip. It's called the slip.
I will tell people that are watching, please do not try this at home unless you're.
The slip is head movement to the side. A duck is a downward body movement, and the block defensive action, use of the arms and gloves. Now, if you don't know boxing, you're not going to know this. If you learn boxing, you're going to learn it. Boxing people like Tom and I, we heard this, but we don't do it, and we really don't know the technical aspects of it or even how to do it. We tried in the gym, and I didn't succeed with it. I mean, look at me now. But fighters use that. They use that. And then you have the fundamental combinations to consider, including, note this, how many times it's mentioned in that graph. Jab, jab, cross, left hook, right uppercut, left hook. Now, how many times during the course of watching a fight, championship or not, during the course of watching boxing, do you hear this from the commentators, how fights are finished in one? Left hook, right uppercut, left hook. What does that remind you of, Tom?
I don't know. Every fighter that I watch on TV, what are you asking? I'm not too sure what you're asking.
Well, then I don't. Yeah, jab, uppercut, right, finishes to a fight. How many fighters use these type of combinations and moves to finish off a fight? Yeah,
everything starts with the jab, right? If you have a good jab, you're going to succeed in the sport. So
yeah. So I thought this was interesting. If a fighter is watching a trainer, and then we'll get one or two on, we could keep this in the file and bring it up to them. How about that?
This up.
Right?
Every time we interview a fighter, I'm going to bring this up and see what they say. They're going to laugh.
See what they say.
I'm definitely going to do it.
Well, I'm always laughed at, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And on that note, we'll keep that. We'll keep that in the keep it in the ring file. Tom, great hour or more on the program this week. Just me and you again going solo. A lot of info. Interested to see the fight this weekend with Ben and Eubank, how that transpires. And we await if it's going to be official when Teofimo Lopez and Shakur Stevenson. For January 31st in New York City, we're still waiting. Let's see. We'll find out.
You owe me. You got to talk to him for me and bring him on. Our friend BBO, he's a big fan. I don't know. You was there in Brooklyn when Danny Garcia's fight. Tio was there. Did you see BBO give Tio a great big hug? Because people don't believe me. People don't believe me when I tell them.
I don't remember. I honestly don't remember. I remember what I just said a minute ago. You're asking me that? That happened 3 weeks ago. I don't know. All I know is Teofimo hugged me and was happy to see me. We talked and he was on the show and we still communicate a little bit. That's all I don't know. I don't remember. And when you get my age, you tend to not remember a lot of things.
Understood.
When I'm at the fights, I do what I got to do. When I'm at the ballpark up in that press box, I do what I got to do. But most of the time, I'm doing this. And when I hear the crack of the bat or something like that, I look and see what that, because I know right away if it's a home run or a strike or whatever, that's how it goes. Great job, Tom. That's my point. As always, you did a great job for me. You make me look good all the time. You didn't step on me. You make me look good each and every week here on the program.
I try my best. I try.
You do more than best. So next week we'll be back again, 8 p.m. live Eastern, and we'll preview the big weekend in boxing next week. Riyadh season, Saudi Arabia title fights, including Norman, Abdullah Mason, Benitez and Yardy, light heavyweight title. Looking forward to that one on the Zone pay-per-view as well from Riyadh and Saudi Arabia. Talk more and break it down next week. Along, we'll analyze Ben and Eubank Jr. as well. Any final words before we quickly say goodbye, Tom?
Well, we got 2 good weeks of boxing coming up. I can't wait for next week. I mean, this is the warm-up, the rematch, and then next week we got a big card, man. I'm very excited for next week.
Yeah, that is big. And then December is loaded as well, including the return of Diego Pacheco among them. I think you also have a top-ranked title fight this weekend, and Emilio Vargas is on it as well, isn't he?
Scrolling it down, yeah, Emilio.
Scroll at the bottom of the screen. It's on the fight calendar at the bottom.
Emiliano's fighting, and Espinoza is defending his featherweight title, and then Rocky. Richie Torres is going to be fighting.
Richie Torres, the rising heavyweight with Top Rank, as they continue to showcase their fighters without a major streaming network. Salute to you too, Skillmatic, and all of you out there for supporting this program each and every week. Keep it in the ring with me and Tommy D with TD Sports Talk. Tom, where did they reach you quickly? How do they view you when I'm not around you?
You catch me on YouTube, TD Sports, TD Sports Talk. We'll be live tomorrow night. We'll go over and preview this fight, and we'll be dropping some videos as well. And then you could also catch me every Sunday on the sportsbyline.com on the radio with my man Pedro Fernandez on Ring Talk Worldwide.
We got to get him on as well. He's a good friend of yours, an old pal of mine from years back.
He loves to talk, so I could get him.
Yeah, I know he does. One question gives you a book, that's for sure. All right?
He has great stories. He's got some great stories.
He's got more than me, that's for sure. Ring786, how you get me on social media, facebook.com, Rich Mancuso on Instagram, read my content, latinosports.com, and much more. Stay in touch with us, fans, throughout the week, social media for some shorts and things like that. I want you, as always, be well, God bless, be good to each other. That's so important today. And as always, Tom, till next week, what do we say?
Keep it in the ring.
Keep it in the ring. Till next week, thank you for watching. Till next time, I'm Rich. This is Tom. Keep it in the ring.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go.